Feeling jittery about tackling tough talks at work? Don't sweat it. We made a guide that's like a secret weapon for mastering those tricky conversations. Say goodbye to the stress and hello to smoother sailing in the workplace. Also, we know what's going through your mind. Don't believe us? Well, let's take a look. How do you prepare for challenging conversations? How can we create that open dialogue? How can we set the right expectations? What do we do when there is little trust? When do we need to step away from a conversation that is not productive? So, ready to level up your communication game? Let's dive right in. How do you prepare for the challenging conversations? Remember these 5 A's. Awareness. Acknowledge the need to have a difficult conversation. Recognize that there is a conversation that needs to take place, but you haven't initiated due to hesitation. Acknowledge that there are differences in the perception of any situation. Awareness with the intended outcome of this conversation. Be mindful that the element of surprise makes the conversation difficult. Approach. Recognize that the other person is another person same as you. Reflect on how you can connect, engage, and relate with this person. Share the conversation, separate the individual from the topic or issue. Remember, you are a team against the issue and not to each other. Come into the conversation with curiosity. Ambiance. Be mindful of the location and setting of the conversation. If permitted, it can be done in an informal environment such as going out for a coffee or even just for a walk. If possible, arrange for relaxing music and flowers or plants. Anatomy. Preparation physically, such as awareness of heart rate and breathing. Bring a positive mental attitude and energy. Having enough sleep. Be mindful of the quality and tone of your voice. Be mindful of your facial expression. Attitude. Sharing internal dialogues with the other person. For example, I recognize that we might disagree, but I wanted to have a productive conversation. Are you coming in this conversation with curiosity or with emotions? What is the context that you are telling yourself and the other person as this changes the perception when the issue is presented? Understand what is your window of tolerance, and remember that sometimes being candid in the situation can help. How can we create that open dialogue? Remember the 5 B's. Be clear. Ensure that the purpose and intention is clearly stated. Acknowledge that it is a two-way conversation. Have an agreement to look after each other and provide constructive feedback. Be curious. What people do, think, and feel. Exploring all potential scenarios. Is there enough trust? Bring that mental flexibility. Be calm. Awareness, be on track, take a break. Reminder that being emotional affects the focus and mental state to be in full attention. Be compassion. Awareness when elements of privilege is in the picture, and that in most situations the other person does not have the power to negotiate the conversation on their best interest. An outcome is not necessarily a hard line, but being heard and validated is enough. Honor the conversation, show curiosity and empathy. Openness and mental flexibility enable the other person to feel safe in the conversation. Avoid letting the conversation to culminate in an all-or-nothing outcome. Be considerate. By asking permission, communication is a two-way street. Allow the other person to prepare. Ask the question, do you have time to meet? Give the opportunity to respond, yes, no, not the right time, not in the right headspace. Give the option to bring a support person. How can we set the right expectations? Remember the C's. Can you take a step back on what you expect is the difficult part of the conversation and focus on the awareness with emotional management? Can you shift your mindset that you don't intend to persuade or win over, or to change someone's opinion or mindset? Can you set the stage by acknowledging that you may not see eye to eye, and that you will put all opinions on the table with the intention to have a meaningful and productive conversations. Can you accept that this conversation could either be good or bad? Can you both agree that a resolution should not always be the goal, and accept that not all difficult conversation can be resolved in one conversation? Expect that it can be multiple conversations. Co-create a constructive solution, setting the mindset of finding the middle ground. Agree to progress and move to the same direction. Agree on principles of how you can work together. Understand the difference between listening to respond or listening to understand. What do we do when there is little trust? Remember these 5 B's. Be considerate with the needs and wants of the person involved based on their profile and preferences. Be calm and accept that sometimes you can afford a certain level of candidness based on certain levels of trust. Be considerate that if the trust is non-existent, reflect on what are we trying to achieve in the conversation. Balance your approach in the conversation using honesty and kindness. Being kind means I care about the outcome and the people involved. This can be the driver for the trust to build up. Being honest means that I am sharing what I can only share in that subject and not creating any scenario. When do we need to step away from a conversation that is not productive? Remember the 5 F's. When you feel that you are starting to be uncomfortable. When you feel that you are starting to be overwhelmed. When you feel that you are starting to be reactive and emotional. When you feel that the boundaries you set are being crossed and will make you walk out. When you feel that the conversations is going around in circles and the other person keeps interrupting. The ABCs of managing difficult conversations at work. Think about difficult conversation as opportunity to build trust, deepen working relationship, and further cement your value as a leader in the organization. Change your perspective and challenge each other without fear. Take each challenging conversations as learning opportunity. If you come into the conversation with curiosity and mental flexibility, it will be easier to accept the outcome. What we seek and fear in life are the driving force in our day-to-day conversations, such as trust, authenticity, autonomy, and acceptance. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you haven't already, then don't forget to subscribe and press that like button. Also, hit the bell icon so you could never miss new updates from us. Thank you for watching, and we will meet you in the next one.